Hey everybody, in today's video I want to talk to you about the best way that I've found to prevent deer from browsing your trees. You know, a lot of you out there, myself included, we either live in areas with high deer densities or we create the high deer density with the things that we plant and the attractions that we have on our property. And it's really important for me to protect the trees that I got because, you know, as a lot of you guys know, when we have these elevated deer numbers, they can absolutely destroy your trees. Anything you have planted that you don't want them to eat. You know, white pine, red pine are some of their favorites in this area, especially these pine trees. You know, they eat a lot of deciduous stuff too, and on my particular property I'm trying to get a lot of pines to grow, and it would be completely impossible if I didn't do something to protect those pine trees. So I'm going to talk about my favorite two ways to prevent deer browse. You know, I used to mess around with repellents and things like that, but the problem with repellents is they wash off and you got to keep reapplying. Plus, I don't like handling and dealing with the stuff. But the best way that I've found to keep deer off of your young pine trees, if these are little trees that you've planted, or maybe they're just natural volunteer trees and they're at that height where deer want to browse on them and eat them. This is a little product that's out there. It's called Browse Blocker. There's a little company out there that sells these. I'll put a link down in the description if you guys are interested in them. But basically what you do is you slide this little plastic netting on your forearm like this, and then you would take the pine tree. I'll just demonstrate on this. This is a little popple whip here. But you would use this product on a pine tree, and so you just take the tree with this slit up your arm, you grab the top of the tree that you want protected, and you slide the mesh down over the tree. And then there's a little clip in the bag they give you that you just clip on to the trunk of the tree, and it just holds this, it just holds the netting right onto the top of the tree. So these are pretty inexpensive, and I've been using these. People in my family have been using these, and they really work. They work way better than bud caps, and you can buy a bunch of these and protect a whole ton of young pine trees. And the other cool part is so you'd put these on in the fall. This time of year, it's September right now where I'm at. You'd leave them on all fall and winter, and then you would pull these off in the spring. And that's the nice thing, is once you undo the clip in the spring, you pull this off the tree, you can throw it in a bag and reuse it for many years to come, which is really nice. So once you buy these things, you're set. And this is a product that I really like and that I have come to use on my property because it works so much better than bud capping. I had actually bud capped on a previous property we owned. Many young pine trees I had transplanted, and bud caps are just the little pieces of paper that you staple on over the top candle of the young pine tree. But the deer, it was a harsh winter in northern Minnesota, and the deer actually bit through the paper and they pulled the bud caps off. They would either bite the tree and the paper off, or they would just pull the paper off. And it was really devastating because they demolished a whole bunch of my young pine trees. So if I'm trying to protect a whole bunch of young pines, I like this product. Again, they call it Browse Blocker. You can order these online. Again, I'll put that link down below if it's something you guys are interested in. The other method that I use for protecting my trees is this right here. This is an example of a red oak that I've got caged. And the problem with this right now is this fencing is pretty expensive. You can buy rolls of this stuff at Menards. I don't know exactly what it's going for today just because the prices have been so volatile. I just know that it's really expensive. It's a lot more expensive now than it was just recently. But the nice thing about a cage is if I'm only doing a few trees, maybe I want to save some ornamental trees or fruit trees up by my house. These are very permanent, and they stay up year round, and I don't have to put anything on or take it off. If I've just got a handful of them that I want to protect, I like to do cages up around the house, and then out by my food plots and out by the fields and other areas where I'm trying to protect hundreds of young pine trees. That's where I like the Browse Blocker method. So I actually, just as a little tip for you guys, if you don't want to pay the full price and buy this fencing brand new, I ran a want to buy ad in a local classified here where I live, and I just I worded it that I'm looking for used fencing material and you know, welded wire or something like that. And lo and behold, a guy called me, and he was about an hour away, but he had a cabin over here. He worked in the construction industry. He had hundreds and hundreds of feet of this stuff that he sold me for less than half the price I would have paid at Menards. So you guys can get creative. There's ways to get this fencing material out there for cheap. I haven't been buying any of it lately because number one, I have a bunch already, and number two, it's just so expensive right now. And so I've been focusing on the browse blocker. But either way, I know this topic is a little off from deer hunting itself, but I just wanted to put this video out there for you guys as a tip. If you're thinking about trying to preserve any of your trees as like a plot screen, for example, or young pines in a cutting area or bedding area or around your house, anywhere. These are something that I'm doing right now on my land, on my trees. Just a tip for you guys out there in case you're interested or you're trying to protect some trees. Hope it helps. So any questions, drop them down below in the chat, and until next time, you guys, take care.